திருச்சிற்றம்பலம் எடுக்கும் மாக்கதையின் தமிழ்ச் செய்யுளாய் நடக்கும் மேன்மை நமக்கருள் செய்திட தடக்கை ஐந்துடை தாழ்செவி நீள்முடி கடக்களிற்றை கருத்துள் இருத்துவாம். உலகலாம் உணர்ந்தோதற்கரியவன் நிலவுலாவிய நிர்மலிவேணியின் அலையில் சோதிய நம்பலத்து ஆடுவான் மலர் சிலம்படி வாழ்த்தி வணங்குவான். சைவத்தின் மேற்சமயம் வேறிலை அதில் சார் சிவமாம் தெய்வத்தின் தெய்வம் இல்லனும் நான்மறை செம்பொருள் வாய்மை வைத்த திருத்தேவாரமும் திருவாசகமும் உய்வை தரச் செய்த நால்வர் பொற்றாள் எம்புயிர் துணையே. தில்லைவாழந்தனரை முதலாக சீர்படைத்த துலையதாம் திருத்தொண்ட தொகைடியார் பதம் போற்றி உலையவர் புராணகதி உலகறிய விரித்துரைத்த செல்வமலி குன்றத்தூர் சேக்கிழாரடி போற்றி. ஆதாரமாகிய மாணிக்க வாசகர் பாதார விந்தம் அணிவோம். பண்டு செய்த தீதான பாவங்கள் எல்லாம் தீர்ந்து ஞானோதயம் வந்து கூடிடுமே. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். ஹரஹர நம பார்வதி பதையே ஹரஹர மகாதேவா. சிற்சபேசா சிவசிதம்பரம் தென்னாருடைய சிவனே போற்றி, எந்நாட்டவர்க்கும் நிறைவா போற்றி. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். Dear devotees, welcome back to the Periyapuranam Discourse series. By the grace of the Almighty Lord Siva, we are here again to think through the life history of 63 Nayanmars at this auspicious time through Shyam.org. Let me bow my head to the lotus feet of Almighty Lord Siva, David Cheklar Swamigal, and Kunambatti 57th Pontiff, Sri Gomathinayagam Rajasarana Manikvasa Swamigal. So today is a very special day. It's Mahashivratri. Shivratri is one of the most auspicious fasting festival that we follow in Shaivism. The Puranas explain a lot about the significance of Shivratri fasting. So my best Mahashivratri wishes to all of you. And I hope you all stay awake all night by chanting Tirumurai Sri Panchaksharam and make the best use of Mahashivratri. So with the blessings of the Almighty Lord Shiva, let's go ahead and get started with the Periyapuranam. So during the last session, we covered the overview of Periyapuranam, what it really talks about. And then we also touched based on the significance of Periyapuranam in Tirumurai, why it was 12th Tirumurai, and how it's part of Panchapuranam as well. And then we also covered a little bit about why it's actually called Periyapuranam, why there are other bigger Puranams than Periyapuranam, but still why it's called Periyapuranam. And we also concluded that it's not just because of the bulk and size we call it Periyapuranam, big. We define the word big, Periya, based on the accomplishments and significance of the specific Puranam. There's another outstanding example which we didn't get a chance to cover during the last session. So I will quickly cover that in a few minutes. And then we'll move on to the history of David Cheklar Swami. That is what we're going to cover in the session today. So once upon a time, Lord Subramanya Swami asked Saint Avai Piratiyar, Avai, what is the biggest thing in this world? So he just asked Avai the question. Then the Saint Avai Piratiyar replied to the Lord, oh my Lord, Murga, you know everything. The whole world is yours. So with your blessings, I'll try to answer your questions. If you ask me, which is the biggest thing in this world? If you see the world, the universe is very big. But that doesn't mean it is the biggest thing. So let me start with the universe. The universe is it looks very big, so it seems to be the biggest thing in the world. But the universe is created by Brahma. So Brahma is very powerful and even bigger than the universe then. So is it really the final biggest thing in the world? No, he's not. Because Brahma originates from the navel of Lord Vishnu. So Vishnu is more powerful and bigger than Brahma. So what happens next? Vishnu sleeps over the bed of Adiseshan on ocean. So the ocean holds the Lord Vishnu. That means the ocean itself bigger than the Vishnu because it holds Lord Vishnu. So she goes on listing a few more things, which is bigger than the previous one. So far we started with the world, then she moved on to Brahma, then she moved on to Vishnu, then she moved on to ocean, and then she says, once upon a time, the great saint Agastya Muni, managed to control the whole ocean in his small vessel, which we call Kamantala. So Saint Agastya Kamantala is bigger than the ocean. The Kamantala made by clay. The clay comes from the earth. And then she says, the, the earth is bigger than the Kamantala because the clay comes from the earth. But the earth is held by the snake. The snake is holding the earth on its head. And Goddess Parvati, your mother, Goddess Parvati, wears that snake as a ring on her finger. So ultimately, your mom or mother, Goddess Parvati, is the biggest thing in the world. But she is part of the Almighty Lord Shiva. We all know that. The list still goes on further. And then can we conclude that the Almighty Lord Shiva is the biggest thing in the world? Yes, of course. But still, the Almighty Lord Shiva lives in the heart of his saintly devotees who have unconditional love for him. So at the end, she started with universe of Avipragya, and then she ended with the Lord Shiva devotees. Then she concludes, it really the fame of Lord Shiva devotees, which is the biggest thing in the world. It is the biggest thing in the world. We just cannot explain the fame of Lord devotees in a text. So she said the biggest thing in the world is great devotees. So that's what Periyapuranam talks about it. So the Periyapuranam talks about the saintly devotees of Lord Shiva, their intense love, their fame, and their courage, which are quite difficult even to imagine, and it cannot be explained in any text. It cannot be fully explained. Of course, it can be explained in text, but it cannot be fully explained in any text. So it's beyond the text. So this is another example why we call Periyapuranam, why we call the Thiruchitrambalam as Periyapuranam. The actual name of the 12th Tirumurai composed by Devachekala Swamigal is called Thiruchitrambalam. But the the Periyapuranam has become a permanent name for the Thiruchitrambalam. It talks about the greatest people who have done the greatest thing in their life. So that's all, that covers why we call this Puranam as Periyapuranam. And now let's move on to the history of Devachekala Swamigal. So the history of Devachekala Swamigal is explained in detail in Tirutondar Purana Varalar, composed by Srimad Mahadi Sivacharya Swamigal, who's one of the four saints of Sandana, Saiva Sandana Kuravar. The Tirutondar Purana Varalar is also called as Sheklar Purana. Okay, so everything what I'm going to say now in this class, the history of the Sheklar Swami, reference is taken from Sri Sheklar Puranam, composed by Sri Mahadi Sivacharya. So let's move on to the history of Devachekala Swami. In ancient times, the northern part of Tamil Nadu used to be called Thondai Nadu. Thondai Nadu. And when I say Thondai Nadu, currently it refers to the area where we have Chennai, Sengalpattu, Kanchipuram, and so on. It was the northern Tamil Nadu, northern part of Tamil Nadu. So at that time, Tondai Nadu was divided into several regions called Kotam. Kotam means a region. Region. So there are 24 different Kotams that made the whole Tondai Nadu. One of the key Kotams was Puliyur Kotam. In Puliyur Kotam, there was an internal division which was called Kundraivala Nadu, Kundraivala country. Okay. Kundraivala Nadu, and Kundratur was the capital of that Kundraivala Nadu. We still have Kundratur close to Chennai. Those who live in Chennai who knows it's pretty close to Tirupur. So Kundratur was the native town of David Sheklar Swamigal. So several centuries ago, the great Chola emperor Kariyala Cholan had settled 48 thousands of Velalar families across the Tondai Nadu. Across the Tondai Nadu. Velalar community has several sub-communities, and one of the sub-communities is called Chekular. So the name Chekular comes from a community name. It's a part of Velalar community. So the Chekular sub-community was very distinguished and advanced in the field of agriculture, and also some of the members from that community were even serving in key administrative positions in the Chola nation, like ministers, army commanders, and so on. So the Chekla Swamiyal was born in that community, Cheklar community. Swami's parents gave him a very divine name called Arun Moli Devar. Arul Moli Devar, which means the Lord of the divine language. Everything that came out of David Chekla Swami's mouth was so divine. And it's always my personal experience as well, since I have learned Periyapuranam. Once you get used to the taste of David Chekla Swami's Tamil, you will not like any other Tamil. It is the superior way of Tamil literature. That's what but the name itself explains. It's Arulmoli Devar, the divine language. Divine language. So Arulmoli Devar excelled in Shaivism, holy scriptures, Puranas, education, general knowledge, politics, morals, anything that we name it, at the very young age itself. He was so smart. Of course, he was another. His birth had a purpose to serve Shaivism and also enlighten all of us. And knowing this, because the Chola emperor, they're pretty good. Some of their community members were already serving in the Chola nation with some key positions like ministers and army commanders, etc., so on. The Chola emperor at that time called the great emperor Anabaya Chola. Anabaya Chola. He was also known as Second Kulothunga Cholan in history. So wherever you see King Second Kulothunga Chola, it refers to King Anabaya Chola. So Anabaya Chola, when he came to know about the fame of Armuli Deva, and then he appointed Armuli Deva as the chief minister of the entire Chola nation. And then during the administration of David Chekla Swami and his chief minister leadership, the whole Chola nation started flourishing across all areas. And then the king was extremely happy. He also conferred the title of Uttama Chola Pallavar for Arunmoli Devar. David Chekla Swamigal, since he excelled in Shaivism, Holy Scriptures, Puranas, everything at the very young age itself, he was so devoted to the Lord in Tirunageshwaram temple, a famous temple near Kumbakonam. It also got Devaram songs. Tirunageshwaram temple. And then Tirunageshwara Swami was his Anmartha Swami. David Chekla Swami was so immersed with the Lord of Tirunageshwara Swami. And because of the intense love he had for Tirunageshwara Swami. He also built a temple in his hometown, Kudratur, and named that as Tirunageshwaram Temple. So if you ever go to Kundratur, it's still there. You can visit the temple constructed by Devachekla Swami or Tirunageshwaram Temple. And just another 10 or 15 minutes walk from that temple, you can also reach Devachekla Swami Temple. It used to be the home of Devachekla Swami, and it was converted into a temple for Devachekla Swami. Such a holy land. We must go and visit that temple at least once in life. Every Shaivan must go there. You cannot afford to miss that. So now the entire nation was flourishing during the chief minister leadership of Devachekla Swamigal, and there is a turning point in the story right now. So during the lifetime of King Anabaya Cholar, many Saivids were immersed in some worldly literature that do not add any value to the current life on earth and also afterlife. They're just enjoying reading some literature that would just give them carnal pleasures. So the Chola Emperor, King Anabaya Chola, was no exception to it. He was so immersed and so deep in the taste of Shiva Sindhamani literature. Wakes up in the morning, just go through the Shiva Sindhamani. He will enjoy every line of it, and he will spend the whole time with the other Tamil poets talking about Shiva Sindhamani, and then he goes to bed. Then David Chekla Swamigal was noticing this for a long time. Then he felt very concerned to notice these changes in the king because this will have a significant impact on the people and the country if the king was so immersed on a literature that is way off from Shaivism and its philosophy. That's not gonna do any good things to the country. Then he decided, David Chekla Swamigal decided to rescue the king from the literature that just gives carnal pleasures, talks about worldly stuff, and divert his attention to the life history of 63 Nayanmars. It was also his duty as a chief minister to ensure that to direct the king in the right path when he sleeps. So it was his duty as well. Then Devachekla Swami went to the king and he explained the king the defects of the literature that he was so interested on. And then it explained that this literature focused on just some volatile stuff, carnal pleasures, and then he emphasized the merits of Shaivism before it became too late, which is very important. So before it became too late, he acted immediately. If we want to fix something, we need to act at the right time before it becomes too late. And Swami did that exactly. Then he asked the king Anabaya, the Chola emperor, my king, I have been noticing this over the past few days. And you are so immersed in Siva Sindhamani, and you continue to neglect the scriptures of Siddhanta Saivam, and you read the literatures that just give you the worldly pleasure instead of reading the Shaiva scriptures. As you know, Shaivism is a superior philosophy, which has the greatest scriptures that would help elevate ourselves into the next level in our spiritual journey. And let me give you some examples, my king. Do you think a wild river became a lovely waterfall at any time? No. Can a shooting star become a cool and lovely full moon? Never. Can the hot wind from a fire become a breeze with the fragrance of flowers? Never, ever. Just like these things will never happen, you cannot attain what you really need to accomplish with these worldly literatures. Then the king got puzzled by the questions raised by Devachekla Swami. Then he looked at him And he asked Swami, what do you wish to convey? Arumali Deva, what do you wish to convey? If this literature is not going to help me with my current life and afterlife, which scriptures will help me? Then Arumali Deva replied to the king, my king, only the stories of the Almighty Lord Shiva and his 63 saintly devotees will help us in this life on earth and also afterlife. None of the other literatures will do. And then the king stop there, Swami. Okay, stop. Let me ask you these questions. What are those stories on Lord Shiva and his devotees? Which literary work explains all these stories? Who are well versed in these stories? Are they new or old? Tell me the name of the work which has answers to all my questions. And he posted the string of questions. And those questions made Devachekla Swami feel really happy because he was exactly expecting those questions. By addressing those questions with the right answers, will enlighten the king with the truth. So he was exactly expecting those questions. Sekla Swami was very smart, right? And then Devachekla Swami said, my king, let me answer you all those questions. In 7th century, you know about the Saint Nambiarur and one of the 4 saints of Samayakuravar. He was blessed by the Lord in Thiruvannamalur, and then at his order, he went to Thiruvarur, got married to Paravayar, and he got settled in Thiruvarur. Once he went to the Thiruvarur temple. When he entered the temple, on the right side, he looked at the Shiva devotees, the great Shiva devotees praising the Almighty Lord Shiva in Devasirian hall. The great saintly devotees praising the Lord Shiva in Devasirian hall. And then he just prayed to the Lord in his heart, Lord Vanmiganatha Swami, when will I become a servant of these devotees? It is the greatest thing in his life, in anybody's life. It's called Adiyark Adiyan, the servant of Lord Shiva devotees. Sundarar is the friend of the Almighty Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva himself gave him that friendship. But he asked the Lord, when would I become the servant of your devotees here? Then the Lord appeared, Lord Tyagaraja appeared in front of him, said, Sundara, go ahead and praise the Lord, my devotees. Then Sundarmati Swami replied to Swami, I don't know anything about these great devotees. I am no way equal to them. Their courage, their unconditional love, their dedication, I'm no way equal to them. I don't know anything about them. It's only your blessing that I can sing about them. Please bless me. Then Thiruvarur Vanmiganatha Swami himself gave him the first line of the Padigam, Tirthundattogai, Thillaival Andanatham Adiyarkum Adiyen. My king, those are the words from the Thiruvarur Vanmiganatha Swami. He said, Thillaival Andanatham Adiyarkum Adiyen. Then he blessed Nambiarurar to complete the whole Padigam. Then Sri Nambiarurar completed the Tirthundattogai Padigam. That was the purpose of his life. He was sent from Kailash by Lord Shiva to sing this Padigam for us. It was the first ever literature work that talks about the 63 Nayanmars. I answered your first question. Yeah, this was the Padigam, Devar Padigam. And then Sri Nambiyandar Nambigal sang Tirthonda Tiruvandadi. So he kept Sundaramurti Swamigal Tirthundattogai as a first reference of 63 Nayanmars. And then he expanded a little bit about the Nayanmars in Tirthunda Tiruvandari. So Tirthunda Tohai talks 2 or 3 words about the Nayanmar. Tirthunda Tiruvandari, Namiyana Rambigal sang one full song, 4 lines of song for each Nayanmar. He expanded that. And see, Nambiyandar Nambigal was born in Tirunarayur in the tradition of Adi Saiva community. And with the grace of Pola Pilayar, Nambiyandar Nambigal, and your ancestor, Abhayagula Segaran, the great Chola emperor, Rajaraja Cholan, recovered the Devaram songs from Chidambaram. My king, you know that. The great Chola emperor Rajaraja Cholan got those Tirumurai inscribed in copper plates. Tirthunda Togai, Tirthunda Tiruvandadi, and all the Devaram songs, he got them inscribed in copper plates. You were born in that great lineage of the great king Rajaraja Cholan. So, my king, you must focus on the stories of Nayanmars and must spread Saivism once again in our country instead of wasting your time in this worldly literature. Now the king's interest was kindled. Then he asked David Chekla Swami, please tell me the stories of Nayanmar. Then David Chekla Swami went ahead, told the wonderful life history of those great devotees, emphasizing their courage, their intense love, devotion, and sacrifices made for Lord Shiva. The king, an buyer, Cholan, then realized the greatness of Shaivism in the Nayanmars. Then he decided to abstain from indulging in the carnal pleasures of literature. Then he asked Devachekla Swami, Aranmali Devar, I would like the whole world to hear the same Pranam that you just told me. So, take it's an official order from me. Go ahead and compose a Puranam of the life history of 63 Nayanmars. Okay, I am ordering to make sure that you have access to everything that you need to compose this Periyapuranam. Go ahead and do the work immediately. Then David Chekla Swami replied to the king, my king, if it is the wish of Lord Shiva, I'll be more than happy to do this. I'm so delighted. Then David Chekla Swami went to Chidambaram, Tillai Chitrambalam, the heart of the world. It is the end of jnana in Saivism. We say the end of jnana is called the outskirt of Tillai. So David Chekla Swamigal went to Tillai Chidambaram. The message had already gone to Telavalandanas and all of that because he was the chief minister of Chola nation and Chidambaram was part of the Chola nation. The message has gone to them saying David Chekla Swamigal is coming to Chidambaram to compose the history of 63 Nayanmars. So all the 3,000 Telavalandanagal gathered at the outskirts of Chidambaram and welcomed David Chekla Swamigal with Purna Kumbham respect. David Chekla Swamigal went to the temple, stood in front of the Lord Nataraja Swami Kanagashava, and then he prayed to him with the most humility and sincerity. Swami, the king has ordered me to compose a Periyapuranam. I know it's not easy. It's just not easy for anyone to express the love of your devotees in a few words. It's just not possible. I know that. Please give me the literary capacity, the knowledge to compose this great work. I need your blessings. How do I start? I need your guidelines. Please help me start off this holy scripture. He prayed to the Lord. Then a brilliant light, a bright light appeared in the temple. A loud voice was heard from the sky. Shiva, Lord Shiva, Lord Raja, gave Deva Chekla Swamigal the first phrase to be used in composing the Periyapuranam. They heard Ulagala, everybody heard the word Ulagala from the sky. It's called Asariri. Ulagala means the whole world. So Deva Chekla Swamigal went into ecstasy thinking of the Shiva's infinite mercy. Now, Deva Chekla Swami needs to compose the Periyapuranam. So, with this, let's end the session for today. We will continue how Deva Chekla Swamigal completed the Periyapuranam, how it was inaugurated, etc., in the next class. Thiruchitrambalam. என்ற பின்பம் பெருகும் இயல்பினால் ஒன்றுகாவே துள்ளம் என்கிற மஞ்சுளார் அடியார் அவர்வான் புகழ் நின்றது எங்கும் நிலவி உலகலாம் திருச்சிற்றம்பலம் ஹரஹர நம பார்வதி பதே ஹரஹர மகாதேவா சிற்சவேசா சிவசிதம்பரம் திருச்சிற்றம்பலம்.